Maya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. So where were we, Prabhu?
This we have to start from S for the urges on the tongue.
Tongue. Okay, Prabhu. If you want, you can read, Prabhu.
Shall I read or Simon Prabhu wants to read?
Anyone?
Okay. As for the urges of the tongue, we all experience that the tongue wants to eat palatable dishes. Generally, we should not allow the tongue to eat according to its choice, but should control the tongue by supplying prasadam. The devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasad. That is the way to control the urge of the tongue. One should take prasad at scheduled times and should not eat in restaurants or sweetmeat shops simply to satisfy the whims of the tongue or the belly. If you stick to the principle of taking only prasad, the urges of the belly and the tongue can be controlled.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. So according to the scriptures, actually, see, you are what you eat. This is an English saying. Prabhupada used to quote it very often. Also, there's another factor here. This factor. So now we are like, we have already done Bhagavad Gita and we have done Ishopanishad also. So we can go a bit more into details here. So the basic principle of life in material world is Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. That life sustains on life. So naturally, so sometimes this there is a question which is asked to devotees that you are saying that you are vegetarian, but you are killing plants. So we may say yes, there is less violence, or there is plants don't have so much sensitivity, but that is a fact. There is violence even in vegetarian food because even if we are eating grains or something, we are consuming life. Because without life, there is no question. We cannot consume rocks or soil and become nourished. There must be some source of some life, prana, that we must consume. So even if we are taking vegetables or fruits or grains, there is some degree of violence. So therefore, and that violence becomes direct reaction. So Srila Prabhupada says that even the so-called vegetarians are sinful. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that one who eats without offering to me is verily eating sin. So that's a fact that even if we are eating food which is vegetarian, it is still sinful. Any food in this world is sinful. Therefore, Krishna says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yo Me Bhaktya Prayachati. So, some plants, some leaf, some fruit, some flowers, some milk, some water, if you offer, I will accept. And by accepting it, Krishna accepts the reaction behind that food. So, when we take that prasad, we become free. We say that verse, in the temple, we sing the prasadam prayer. Mahaprasade Govinde Nam Brahmane Vaishnave Salp Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasunaiva Jayate. शरीरा विद्यजाल जड़ेन्द्रिय ताहे काल जीवे फेले विषय सागरे तार मध्य जिभाति लोभ माया सुदुर्मति ताके जेता कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ा दयामाय करिबारे जी भजाए स्वप्रसाद अन्न दिलो भाई सेई अन्नामृत पाओ राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ. That the tongue is actually like leading to all kinds of entanglements in this material world because we are speaking things, we are consuming things, so we are expelling words and we are consuming uh, others' reactions. So, therefore, if we eat only what is offered to Krishna, something that is pure, something that is nourishing, if we offer it to Krishna with love and devotion, and Krishna accepts it, then that thing will nourish us physically as well as spiritually. So, of course, in the later stages, more advanced stages of bhakti, the devotee doesn't consume even prasad so much. Like Prabhupada used to say, that in the beginning stages, you can consume a lot of prasad that will purify. But as one becomes more and more established in devotional service, one should reduce one's consumption of prasad also. Because beyond a limit, prasad is also a form of sense gratification. So a devotee typically depends on whatever he can get. According to scriptures, sannyasi, when he is wandering, he does not take food from the same household more than once. And even in that household, he takes only as much food as can be contained within the two palms. And he should take it very quickly and move on. And he should preferably take only once a day. So these are some rules. Hari Bhakti Vilas and the scriptures mention these things. But of course, at our stage of devotion, it doesn't really matter. We can eat prasad as much as we want, but we should keep in mind that these are the rules and regulations. So our Acharya, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, he had minimized this eating considerably. He would eat only once in 2 3 days, and that too he would only take 1 or 2 spoons of buttermilk, and that was all his diet. Remaining time he would spend only in chanting the names of the Supreme Lord. And recently, in our times, in the last 40 45 days of his life, Srila Prabhupada did not eat anything. He was simply lying in the bed and translating. So this is the example laid down by our acharyas, because increase, like, large quantity of prasadam also increases rajoguna, mood of passion. It also increases our bodily consciousness. The point here is, we have spoken about this verse from Bhagavad Gita, rasvarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So the point here is that one should not artificially neglect prasadam, that no, I am not going to eat. That is not good. But rather, one should increase one's devotional service to such an extent that the desire for eating too much prasad diminishes. And it happens. The desire to eat, sleep, mate, defend, everything vanishes. The more one chants, the more sincerely one chants. So tongue is like the rudder. Srila Prabhupada used to explain, the ship has a rudder. So the ship may be very large, but the rudder is a small piece of metal, and it controls the movement of the whole ship. The ship may be 50,000 tons. The rudder will be only 1 or 2 tons, but it controls the direction of the ship. So tongue is like that. The body is large, but the tongue is very small, but it controls the destiny of the body by what we speak and by what we consume. So, of course, Vacho Vegam, we have already covered this topic, but Vacho Vegam is also a part of controlling the tongue. So, if we control our intake, our output will also be controlled. If we are taking only sattvic prasad in small quantities, we'll be naturally under control because mode of passion will diminish, mode of goodness will rise, we'll be more able to focus on the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna. Yes, any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, from
Recently, one of the brahmacharis has read uh, in a closed form forum of some devotees. He put an argument that even when you are having prasadam in the temple, it is definitely offered to the deities, but you should be trying to avoid prasadam from the temple also, especially in those temples if the donations the temples are receiving are from unknown sources whose earnings may be of not a very honest earnings. So he suggested that devotees should stop having prasadam uh, from in such temples or centers where donations could be of unethical ways. So, how do you understand this? Whether we should taken in a positive way, or like what should be the way we should understand it? Because we also understand
So the
food
consciousness
one's
of the cook goes in. The
okay,
consciousness of the cook goes into the prasad, even if it is prasad. So
consciousness
in
of
this
the
regard, the consciousness goes into the prasadam when it is cooked. So the food may not be sinful, but it will still induce some kind of it will induce a change of consciousness. So in this regard, there's a very nice story that comes from the time of the six Goswamis. So this is, I think, around the time of Sanatan Goswami. Srila Sanatan Goswami's established the temple of Radha Madan Mohanji. So one day there was a big feast in Madan Mohanji, and many Goswamis. Vrindavan was a place of many holy people in those days. This is like I'm talking about half a century ago, 500 years ago. So many Goswamis, brahmacharis, sannyasis went to take prasadam in this feast. And after taking that feast, when they went for the rest in the evening, they got very strange dreams, very materialistic, and they all were very disturbed next day. So they went and spoke with the priest to inquire about the source of this prasadam. So it turned out that there was a very famous prostitute in Vrindavan, and she had donated her wealth to the temple, and that had been used to cook this bhoga. So the consciousness of that prostitute entered into that. So this is a very famous story. I think Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has also spoken about it. I've also heard it 25 years ago. And just recently also one Goswami was speaking and I heard this story again. So the point here is that, Prabhu, we are taking others' karma. Everything in this world is a combination of action and its reaction. So we should be very careful of what we eat and how we eat. So yes, in a way, yes, brahmachari is right. We should avoid. But that doesn't mean then that we should go out and then eat in a restaurant. Then we should not do that either. We should just cook with our own hands, offer to the deity with love and devotion, and eat it.
So this is the two important points that although the food when offered to Krishna and we receive as prasad, at the same time even a practicing devotee may have been practicing very genuinely for many years, seriously, sincerely, but still if the source of the bhoga offering is not very proper, so definitely that may affect. That is the essence we say. Although it is,
Yes.
although we know that Lord sanctifies it, at the same time we also know that we are also practicing. So even these mild things can affect us.
Yes, definitely.
There's so many years of
So,
sadhana, we cannot overcome this thing.
no, no, no. There's a very interesting point in this regard also, what kind of prasad we should eat. So, there's a very nice story that comes. So, once Srila Prabhupada was in India actually, and one devotee, one disciple of his, made a very nice dish of paneer. This mm, like so this cottage cheese. So Prabhupada ate it and he appreciated. He said, "Yes, very nice, very tasty." So this brahmachari was very encouraged. This devotee. He next day he again made that dish and offered it. So Prabhupada took one piece. He said, "Yes, very nice," but just took one or two pieces. Then he made the dish third day, and this time Prabhupada did not take anything. So he went to Prabhupada and he just asked, Prabhupada, like, did I commit some offense or was there some problem with the taste? So Prabhupada said, no. Actually, paneer is very heavy to digest. Cottage cheese is very heavy to digest. And a brahmachari or a sannyasi should not eat more than once a week. So, of course, nowadays we are accustomed to eating such dishes twice, thrice a week or something like that. So, now there is nothing sinful about paneer. I mean, it's coming from cow's milk. We just curdle it and then we dehydrate and we take it. But still, by its very nature, it is very heavy to digest. And because it is heavy to digest within the stomach, it increases our pitta and increases our rajoguna, mode of passion. So, therefore, even though it is not a sinful food, it can still induce passion. So, there are many considerations to prasadam. It's not just a question of pious or impious or pure or impure. There are many considerations. In this regard, there is another instance also. So Srila Prabhupada said that, brahmacharis should drink milk. It increases the brain fiber. Your capacity to understand spiritual instructions is increased when you drink milk. So brahmacharis started drinking milk 3 times, 4 times a day. Big glasses, 2 glasses, twice, 3 times a day, something like that. When Prabhupada came to know, he stopped it. He said, no, drink milk only twice a day. Once in the morning, once in the evening, one small cup. More than that is also increasing the mode of passion. So even if it's cow's milk, like warm cow milk, if you take it in a 1 or 2 cup quantity, it will increase your sattva. But if it exceeds that, it immediately becomes passionate. So there's a science to prasad. It's a very important topic. Urad dal, this black and white lentils. That also, Prabhupada said that it is actually considered a substitute for meat. It is so heavy in proteins. Likewise, tofu and soybeans. They are also very heavy proteins, difficult to digest. One should not take them more than once or twice a month or something like that, because more than that will increase our digestive fire, and it will actually, will increase mode of passion within our body. So very small, like one or two chapatis. So Prabhupada used to take in the morning, he would take some chipped rice with milk, or if it was Ekadashi, he would take some fried or roasted peanuts with milk. In the afternoon, Prabhupada would take two or three chapatis with a bowl of vegetable, one bowl of lentil dal, and one piece of sweet. And in the evening, Prabhupada would usually take either some chipped rice or just one glass of milk. So that is the standard that Srila Prabhupada had laid down regarding taking prasadam.
Thank you, Prabhu. That are like some pointers so that we can be careful. It's like our devotion is called as Bhakti Lata, so it requires careful, careful inspection, supervision, so that we don't succumb to
Yes.
any of the internal desires.
Okay. In this regard, there are also some other instructions. I mean, these are coming from Ayurveda, and Srila Prabhupada used to quote them in his discussions, that while taking prasad, one's mind should be very peaceful. So one should not take prasad when one is feeling very sad, depressed, or when is feeling very angry. So mood should also be very nice. We are honoring prasad. Srila Prabhupada, and also prasadam should be taken in a solitary place. Prabhupada used to take very quietly, just somebody to serve him, and that's it. And Prabhupada would sit very silently, focus on each item of prasad, quietly finish it. One should not waste prasadam also. Whatever one has taken, one should eat, but one should take very little amount. So Prabhupada would take very silently, meditating deeply on the mercy. When we say, Swa prasad anna dilo bhai, say anna amrita pao, Radha Krishna guna gao. So we consider that this prasad is coming as a mercy of the Lord, and we should take it very peacefully with a very thankful mind. And we offer our obeisances to prasadam, considering it to be mercy of Krishna, non different from him, to nourish our body, to nourish our soul for for devotional service. In this mood, we should take prasad. Likewise, when cooking also, when we are cooking the bhoga, our mind should be very pure. We should not think of illicit subject matter. We should not be angry. We should not be depressed, because all that will go into prasadam. So we should glorify the Lord while cooking it, doing it as an offering to Him. That, my dear Lord, this is in your service that I am doing. Please accept it and purify it. So one should, when cooking also, one should not think, oh, this is very tasty, I will make it for myself. No, one should think that, okay, this is very tasty for the Lord. One should try to find out what the Lord likes and cook accordingly. Offer it with love and devotion, and then serve it to others. So the principle is that when one is making bhoga and offering it to the Lord, the prasad should be offered first to all the guests. Then one should take it. Whatever is there should be shared with others, and then one should take it. So this is one of the sanskaras associated with taking prasadam.
And what about the quantity of the bhoga to be made? Like
It
one
is
thing
for
is
everyone.
like one injunction is like we should not waste prasad taken in the plate. Another is about
Hmm.
how much should be cooked in general. Like when we are in the homes, also we have to cook. So we have to cook. How much should be the quantity one should cook? It should be appropriate according to this, or we should cook extra. Like what are the injunctions in the scriptures?
Yes, so one should cook only as much as sufficient to cook. One should ensure that it's not wasted. So, for example, if two or three people are living and one or two more guests are expected, one should cook enough rice, dal, sabji to just serve, or maybe one extra serving. But one should not cook such a large quantity that one has to, store it, or one has to throw it away. So, depending on circumstances, of course, it varies. Like Srila Prabhupada once said, so for Sunday feast, the devotees asked him, how should we cook? Because kitchen is small. How should we cook large quantities, 100, 200 guests? So Prabhupada said that you can cook on Saturday and store it. So you can do that. If you're inviting a large number of guests, you can cook large quantity the previous day and store it and serve it the next day.
That would be like dessert items or something of that kind, which will preserve, which will be which
Yeah.
will not get
I mean,
spoiled.
not for everything. Like whatever you can. Like for example, if you're inviting 50 people in your house, you obviously won't be able to cook ample prasad for 50 people within few hours on Sunday. So you can cook something like some dal, you can boil and you can keep store it. Some sweets you can make, some sabji you can make and store it. Yeah, next day you can make rice and rotis or puris, whatever you want to make.
Okay, but the whole idea is it should not get wasted. It should
No,
be
yeah, it should not.
you should
It's the mercy
take
of
care
Krishna.
that personally, if it is in your plate, then you should take that much only which will consume. Second,
Yes,
whatever you make, you should ensure that it doesn't go into the bin. It should be it should be distributed, and it should be honored. Prasadam should be honored.
yes.
Any specific injunctions by the scriptures saying that what happens if the food gets wasted. Uh,
It's sinful. It's sinful because there has been violence. Somebody has sacrificed for that food.
hmm.
So by doing that, we are actually committing an act of violence.
Well, cooking itself is violence, but we are offering to Krishna, so uh, the food becomes sanctified and becomes prasad. But if it is not getting honored, then again the same karma will get it back. That is what is said.
Yes. So one should avoid.
So all these injunctions are actually the whole purpose is to make us very conscious about what we are doing and why we are doing.
Yes, that's true. That's how it is. See, devotional life, devotional life is a very delicate matter. It's a very sensitive activity. One has to take many precautions. That's why Srila Prabhupada gave us this rule, just chant as much as possible. So if there are some offenses, invariably there will be offenses. They will be taken care of. So it's like this, devotional service means it's a loving relationship between the living entity and the Lord. So in a loving relationship, one tries to minimize one's offenses. So for example, if you live with someone you love, you'll try to make sure that the other person is not offended. Even though the other person may not take offense, you'll try to minimize it. Still, some things will happen, but it's all right. You are putting your best effort. So bhakti is about putting our best effort and then hoping that Krishna will accept it. That's why we chant. Prabhupada says that, you just keep chanting all the time. Then offenses will be nullified. But try to not commit offenses in the first place. So that's why we can discuss these rules and regulations. They help us advance our bhakti.
So that is, if you are always remembering Krishna, so automatically the urges of the senses are reduced, and therefore we will be minimizing
Hmm.
whatever we have to do for satisfying the senses. Automatically, the chances of committing sins is reduced.
Yes. Also, another important factor is, Prabhu, when one takes very less prasad, one's lifespan becomes longer. It's even a biological fact that metabolism slows down. So one's life becomes very long. And in this human form of life, which is so rare, durlabha manava janama satsange bhajaho haripad niti re. So this is a very very rare form of life that we have got, this human form. So if we can prolong this body, we have ample opportunity to remember the Lord with clear consciousness. So if we can remember the Lord with clear consciousness, we can improve our chances of going back to Godhead in this life itself. So if we eat less, we live longer. and better our chances of going back to Godhead.
Correct, Prabhuji. Understanding.
Is so. Oh, okay. Maybe we stop here today, Prabhu.
Yes,
Next one is another very long topic. Maybe we can discuss it on Wednesday.
yes, Prabhuji. So that would be fine.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So please, uh, please ask as much as you want to ask and comment as much as you want, because my health doesn't stay so good. So I really don't know how long we are able to sustain these classes. So I'm just trying to finish everything, so that at least you have all the knowledge. So if you have questions, comments, please feel free. Don't hesitate, you know, because time is not so good right now.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
We'll try to read again and again, and find if there are some questions.
Yeah. These are instructions from Srila Sanatana Rupa Goswami. Very important for advancing in our bhakti.
True, Prabhu.
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much,
much.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.